Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? And an ad has just started. So, um, I hope everybody is doing all right. Just as Sagrel did, I will be keeping Power Hour on. I will not be starting the timer until y'all tell me that the ad has stopped. Um, oh, sorry. Still have work brain. I got out 2 hours ago. So, anybody that can see me, hopefully everybody's doing all right. And hopefully your day has been a pleasant one. Might as well say happy Juneteenth. Are the ads still going, guys? Or my alt account doesn't get ads, so I can't tell. Well, I think ads probably wouldn't play on your end, Tiger, considering the fact that you're subbed, so... Sure, I got denied again. So, my alt account said, yay, 70 watch streak. Share it. Okay. Oh, sorry, something went wrong. That's okay. Anyway, um, I hope everybody's doing alright. I see Panda, Mar, Misquit, Helios, and Dragon King. And then, of course, Sagrel's watching in the background for me, making sure everything's alright. Has it actually just been, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Actually, today's day 17. So, so it's actually day 17. Yeah. Um, Sagrel didn't come to check. I have it actually, I have a thing listed of each day that we stream, um, how many subs on each day, what the total is. That's why Sagrel's like, hey, Lorelai, how many subs we at? We're at this. Um, let's see. Box of tissues. There it is. So I also just made Sagrel happy because there was a sale that just started at the store I work at, and I got some nice, pretty towels he likes. But sound of rain in the background is kind of nice, so I was just like, oh, let's do a reading stream. So it's gonna be a nice, chill day. I'm going to start um, rereading Changeling because I only had gotten halfway through, and then I took a hiatus because, yeah, Boop Panda. Yeah, be nice if I could actually have raindrops and that in the background, but don't really have that underwater. But the aquarium that I'm sitting in, I can hear it on the cafe windows. But that's nice. Uh-oh. What's going on? All right. Sure. So, rereading Changeling. Wake up, Neef. Spring cleaning today. Cobwebs to sweep, mice to relocate, turtles to wake up and polish, and you have to clean your room. I groaned and put the pillow over my head. A cold, wet nose touched my forehead and flipped the pillow away. None of that now. None of that now, Astrid said. If you don't get cracking, the Boggles will come visit, and then where will you sleep? Or then where will you be? Asleep, I said. Go away, Astris. The covers slithered off my shoulders. I made a grab for them, caught something long and whip-like instead. Let it go again. Fast. I haven't pulled her tail on purpose since I was very little. Astris hates having her tail pulled even more than I hate waking up. She says it's not respectful to pull a fairy godmother's tail. Astris is a white rat and very beautiful. She has fur like powder puff, eyes like polished rubies, and long, delicate whiskers. I swear she says as much with her whiskers as she does with words. Finally, she said, and I sat up and yawned. Come right down as soon as you've dressed and had breakfast. I want to get a start on those turtles. She surveyed my room, her whiskers severe. This place looks like a hoorah's nest. We'll have to get the blockhouse brownie in to help you organize it. Again. I knew my room was a mess. It always is. It's hard to keep a place neat when the only furniture is a curtained bed and an old chest. The walls are mostly taken up by pointy stone windows, so there's nowhere except the floor to keep my leaf collection and my rocks, not to mention the mortal magazines and papers and stuff I've picked up in the park. Astris hopped off my bed and disappeared down the stairs. I got up and sifted through the chest, looking for something I could wear. Everything I had was suddenly too tight, too short, or both. Much as I hated spring cleaning, at least it meant I'd get new clothes. I wiggled into some green leggings and a shirt that used to be floppy, tried to drag a comb through my frizzy hair, gave up, dug around until I found my silver knife and fork. Then I took Satchel down from its hook and climbed back and onto my bed. Toast and jam, please, I told it. Apricot jam. And apple juice. Satchel is my magic bag. It's brown leather and has brass buckles and its own ideas about a proper breakfast for spring cleaning day. When I lifted its flap, I found a glass of orange juice. I hate orange juice. And a plate of eggs and sausage, which I wasn't in the mood for. But I ate it anyway. In the New York I lived in, mortals don't call the shots. The fairy folk do. Ordinary mortals think New York outside is the only one there is. They're wrong. There are at least two New Yorks, and probably more, sharing the same space, but not exactly the same reality. I live in New York between. Hey, Jip. Asamism. Things are invisible outside, or things that are invisible outside are visible between. Every tall building, for instance, has its mountain spirit that outsiders can't see, but we can. Our bridges and tunnels are swarming with trolls and demons of all sizes and colors. Our streets are crowded with Shi from Ireland, Kitsune and Tanuki from Japan, Devi from India, and an assortment of giants and demons and frost spirits and will-o'-the-wisps from all over the world. Some of the more human-looking folk cross to New York outside for fun and adventures, but ordinary mortals can't come to New York between unless the folk bring them. This happens more often than you'd think. Mostly the visiting mortals don't remember much. I remember, but then I live here. Very true, Tiger. I'm a changeling. A kidnapper from the Bureau of Changeling Affairs brought me here when I was little, leaving a fairy that looked just like me behind in my bed. Hey, Dragon King. It's a great honor to be the Central Park changeling. Other neighborhoods in New York between have a bunch of mortal changelings, but park folk aren't all that comfortable with mortals and only take a changeling because it's traditional. So I was the only mortal around. I've spent a lot of time thinking about why I was stolen and brought to Central Park. Before I was big enough to understand that questions were against the rules, I used to pester Astris about it. Her answers were either silly, because you have curly hair, because you like cookies, or too vague to be useful, because you're good for us, because we can. Finally, I got the message and stopped asking. After I'd finished my eggs, I went down the spiral stair to the kitchen, where Astris had a row of what looked like mud-covered rocks lined up on the floor. Every once in a while, I would poke out a wrinkled head, or one would poke out a wrinkled head, blink, yawn, and retreat again. I knew how it felt. Hand me down the turtle wax, Astrid said, and fetch some water. I swear, they're even muddier than usual this year. There's no running water in Belvedere Castle. Hauling it from the turtle pond is my main chore. It's no joke, especially on bath day. The bucket is wooden and heavy even when it's empty. I have to lug it across the terrace to the edge of the cliff overlooking the pond, attach the bucket to the rope, drop it into the water, and pull it up again without spilling. Plus, I have to be careful not to disturb the fish, or I'll get in trouble with Water Rat. The Water Rat is a fictional character. A writer made him up, but he was so real that he took on a life of his own. He loves messing around in boats and spends the whole summer either fixing his rowboat or sculling it around the pond, having picnics and talking to the fish and the turtles and insulting the ducks that nest in the reeds. Today he had the boat turned upside down on the grassy bank and was painting the bottom sky blue. "Hello there, youngster," he called up to me. His white polo shirt and baggy chinos were neat as always, but he had a streak of blue paint across his muzzle. "You haven't picked up any fish in that bucket of yours, by any chance?" "Spring cleaning or no spring cleaning, I don't like my fish disturbed in spawning season." "No, Mr. Rat," I called back politely. "That's a good girl," he said. "Busy time of year, isn't it? When things have calmed down a bit. Look me out, and I'll take you for a nice row. We'll pack a basket, trade stories. Have I told you about the time Mole and Toad and Badger and I turfed the wild wooders out of Toad Hall back in the old country?" "Yes, Mr. Rat, but I'd like to hear it again." "Excellent," he said cheerfully. "Come when you like. Bring Astris, and a few of those wonderful golden biscuits of hers would be very welcome. And a new story, if you have one." All folk love stories. They love to hear them nearly as much as they love to tell them. I've heard stories from Japan, Brazil, Ireland, Russia, Kenya, Jamaica, just about every country in the world whose folk have followed the mortal immigrants to New York. Astris, who is a native New Yorker, specializes in New York stories like The Sewer Maintenance Worker's Wife and Little Red Baseball Cap. The stories are as different as the folk who tell them, but the one thing they have in common is morals. "Don't be greedy" is a popular one, and "don't ask too many questions," and "don't be too curious," and most important of all, "don't break the rules." I love the stories, but I could live without the morals. They all boil down to don't. Don't do this. Don't talk to that. Don't turn around and look where you hear a strange noise. Don't turn over stones to see what's under them. Don't swim in Harlem Mere or walk on Sheep's Meadow without a shepherd. Don't ride on any black animal with flaming eyes, because if you do, you'll be sorry, 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 sorry. Once I asked Astris what happened to all the mortals who hadn't disobeyed all those don'ts, and she just looked at me, her whiskers confused. "I don't know," she said. "I never thought about it. Perhaps they went straight to living happily ever after. Well, I thought about it. And what I thought was that nothing happened to those mortals. Nothing at all. Which was what was happening to me. Like Radio Torella, with no ball to go to, I was stuck fetching water, cleaning my room, forever and ever. The water rat went back to his painting, and I hauled the bucket, sloshing, back across the courtyard. When I got to the kitchen, Astris had brushed the worst of the mud off the turtles. "Thank you, pet," she said, dipping her scrub brush into the water. "There's more to do today than I'd thought." I'd been talking to the mice. There are 6 families to pack and move to the Shakespeare Garden, and the ghosts in the basement are stuck in the cobwebs again, and the squirrels need help getting those nutshells out of the attic. I can't spare time to go to the blockhouse. We'll have to leave your room until tomorrow. This is the kind of news that sounds better than it actually is. No brownie didn't just mean not cleaning my room today. It meant entertaining baby mice and calming hysterical ghosts, or, if I was really lucky, shoveling nutshells out of the attic. And I'd still have to clean my room tomorrow. "Why don't I go get the brownie by myself?" I said. "No," said Astris, scrubbing briskly. "Unsupervised adventures are for big girls." "But I am big, Astris. Just look at me." She looked. Her whiskers expressed a familiar combination of impatience and worry, moving to surprise as she took in my 2 short leggings and my too tight shirt. "So you are," she said slowly. "Still, the North Woods. It's not safe up there. Maybe the puka can go with you." On any other day, this would have been fine. The puka is a lot more fun to be around than Astris, who tends to turn everything into a lesson on folklore. He's a trickster and a shapeshifter. When he's not being a man, he's being one of those flame-eyed animals it's dangerous for mortals to ride. But he's my fairy godfather, so I can ride him whenever I want. Today, though, I was feeling itchy and restless. I wanted to be somewhere I didn't always go, do something I didn't always do. I wanted an adventure. "It's spring cleaning day," I said. "He's probably busy. Please, can I go alone? It's not like the blockhouse is hard to find. All I have to do is follow the brownie's path up to the crest of the hill, and I'm here." "Well," said Astris, her eyes darting from me to the turtles to the swarm of excited mice piling candle stubs and candy wrappers and moldy bread by the kitchen door. "All right, but go straight there and come right back. Keep on the main path to the blockhouse. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right. And whatever I do, don't wander from the path," I finished for her. "Do I look like Little Red Baseball Cap?" Astris fixed me with her ruby eyes. "The North Woods are dangerous, Neef. The Wild Hunt lives in the North Woods. Just because the hunt doesn't ride by daylight doesn't mean all the hunters are asleep." I was about ready to jump out of my skin with impatience. "I know, Astris. I can take care of myself. You taught me how to say I am under the protection of the genius of Central Park in a million languages. Remember?" "So I did," Astris said. "But the genius's protection only covers you from consumption and grievous bodily harm. There are other ways the hunt can hurt you. Don't talk to anyone you don't know, and if you meet a stranger, call the puka immediately. Do you have the hair to summon him with? Do you have a satchel in case you get hungry? Oh dear, maybe I should come with you after all." "Don't worry," I said. "I'll be fine. Bye." And I was out of there before she could change her mind. The stones of the courtyard were warm under my bare feet, and the air smelled of damp soil and green things growing. The big mulberry tree in the Shakespeare Garden was bright with tightly furled buds. Down by its roots, the fairies, mustard seed, and peas blossom were trying to talk some primroses into unfurling early so they could have new skirts. I waved and shouted, but they didn't even hear me. The shortest way to the North Woods lies straight across Central Park Central. On warm, bright days, the huge lawn is usually thick with folk playing complicated games or spreading their wings to the sun. Today, it was deserted except for a team of corn spirits drifting slowly among the grass, combing it smooth with their long fingers. Hoping they were too focused on their work to see me, I tried to sneak across behind them, but as soon as my foot touched the grass, they yelled at me to get off. One of the things I hate about folk is that they notice you when you don't want them to. The path took me to the obelisk, then turned north toward the Metropolitan Museum. Some adventure. This was the path I walked nearly every day on my way to the museum to learn art and mortal languages. Sometimes I went on to the nearby reservoir to swim with the nixies and undines. I'd never been allowed to go further north than that, not alone. Today, the reservoir embankment showed signs of spring cleaning, all draped with waterweed airing in the sun. I scrambled up and threw a pebble into the water. A sleek-headed nixie surfaced and shook her long green hair out of her eyes. "What do you want?" she snapped. "Hi, Algie," I said. "I'm going to the North Woods to fetch the blockhouse brownie." "By myself." "You nearly brained me with a rock to tell me that. Go away. Some people have work to do." Algae flicked her tail and disappeared. Folk are like that. Bother them when they're busy, and they'll bite your head off. The nasty ones do it literally. Beyond the reservoir is the East Meadow. From here, the most direct route to the North Woods is by way of the Mount. It is not, however, the safest way to go. The Mount is surrounded by woods and haunted by ghosts and forest demons and ogres and enchanted snakes. Even under today's bright sunshine, the trees looked extra dark and gnarly, totally unspring cleanable. I decided that Astris would want me to take the long way around. It was a long walk. By the time I got to Harlem Mere, my feet were like lumps of hot tar. I got an apple from Satchel and cooled my toes in the water while I ate it. It just wasn't fair. Yeah, spooky, scary skeletons. At the very least, I should have met an old woman at the crossroads, or a magic bluebird, or a fairy musician offering to sell his fiddle in exchange for something I shouldn't give up. The most exciting things I'd seen today were teams of villas and squirrels and dryads cleaning the dead wood out of the trees and encouraging the baby leaves to grow. Boring. Something rustled in the reeds, and my heart beat a little faster. A pair of ducks appeared from behind a rock, herding a clutch of puffball ducklings out toward open water. I threw my apple core at them, got up, and trudged on toward the North Woods. As Astra said, the North Woods are wild. South of Central Park, Central, the dryads and hamadryads keep the trees and bushes groomed and neat. In the North Woods, they don't bother. The Wild Hunt lives in the North Woods, and the Wild Hunt acknowledges no authority, except sometimes the genius of Central Park. For anybody who doesn't know, the genus is short for Genius Loci, which I know from my Latin lessons means the spirit of the place. Important New York places, Wall Street, Broadway, Grand Central Station, the New York Public Library, the Village, have geniuses. Some are really, really old, like the Mermaid Queen of New York Harbor. Some are practically brand new, like the conductor of Lincoln Center. But each genius rules its territory absolutely. The Green Lady of Central Park is the original genius of the island of Manhattan. We park folk are very proud of her. During the Genius Wars, she fought the newer, younger city geniuses for territory, losing acre after acre of woodland to their park buildings. Eventually, they made a treaty. Central Park was separated from the rest of the city, and the lady got some of her land back. Now she's the queen of all the green places in New York, and the Wild Hunt owes her allegiance. Mostly, she lets them do what they want, which is why the North Woods are so dark and tangled and dangerous. The path to the blockhouse is easy to find, because the brownie keeps it clean and clear of brambles and rocks and old dead branches. I stomped along it, getting hotter and crabbier by the step, until I got to the massive stone stair that leads to the top of the hill. I wiped my sweaty face on my sleeve. Heroes in stories have magic shoes and things that help them through the boring parts of their adventures. So I wasn't a real hero, or this wasn't a real adventure, which I'd already figured out, but I didn't like having my nose rubbed in it. I tripped on the third step and landed sprawling. Sitting up, I licked my scraped palm and checked out the rip in my leggings. Then I noticed a second path, branching off the steps to the right, a path I'd swear hadn't been there before. Scrambling to my feet, I peered into the shadows. It looked as if the path climbed the hill in a gentle spiral, longer, but not nearly as steep as the brownie's stair. The path itself was narrow and rocky and weedy underfoot, but the branches of the trees wove together above it to make a cool green murmuring tunnel. I knew what I should do, of course. I should turn away from the tempting path and climb straight to the blockhouse, as Astris had told me to. But if I did that, there'd be no adventure. Every story I'd ever heard started with the hero breaking a rule, sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. Either way, they lived happily ever after. Stairs or path. A fake adventurer, or a fake adventure, or a real one. It was up to me. Who cared about Little Red Baseball Cap? She was an idiot who couldn't tell the difference between an old lady and a wolf in a nightgown. I'd heard a lot of fairy tales, and I remembered what I'd heard. If the stories warned me against getting into trouble, they also showed me ways of getting out of it again. I took a deep breath and stepped onto the rocky path. Hey, rival. After its gentle beginning, the path curved steeply up over boulders and knobby tree roots. I squashed the thought that the stairs would have been easier and scrambled on. The path narrowed, twisting up along the side of a particularly craggy rock, plunged down a slope thick with slippery pine needles, and finally trickled out into a swampy green pool at the foot of a gigantic, half-rotten willow tree. I flopped down on a stump and looked around. Behind the pool and the willow, the woods made a solid wall of green and brown. The path had totally disappeared. My heart thumped painfully. What lived in these swamps? Water horses and badianoi, mostly. I knew how to deal with them. Or there could be a demon living in the willow. Whatever it was, I was ready for it. What have we here, my dear, a-wandering in the woods? Is it tender? Is it delicious? The voice seemed to come from the pool. It sounded like sharp teeth and hunger. The hair on my neck prickled with excitement. Peace be upon you, good folk, I said, maybe louder than I needed to. I am under the protection of the genius of Central Park. "Aw," the second voice said. It was as hungry as the first, but higher and whinier. "It knows the words." "Of course it does," the toothy voice said. "It's a clever little changeling girl, isn't it, dear? And it's been well taught. What's your name, little changeling?" Here's where I should have kept my mouth shut and called the puka to come get me. But I should have stayed on the main path, too. There's not much point in choosing to have a real adventure if you're gonna scream for rescue as soon as anything interesting happens. It wasn't like I was in any real danger or anything, I reminded myself. Not as long as I didn't tell the voice my name. You'd have to be dumber than Little Red Baseball Cap to tell anybody your real name in New York between. It gives them too much power over you. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours, I said. There, dear, said the voice. Didn't I say she was clever? The second voice sighed. This is boring. What say we leave her here until she's dead, 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 and then we eat her? The lady couldn't get us for that, could she? It may be an idea, dear, the first one said, but it's a very stupid one. Don't be frightened, little changeling, it went on soothingly. Blueberry here was only joking. It wouldn't dream of hurting a hair on your little head. It hadn't sounded like Blueberry was joking to me, but I laughed anyway, to show that I wasn't scared. And, and I wasn't, really. I was just thinking that this adventure wasn't going anywhere, and I might as well leave. But when I turned around, the path had disappeared behind a thicket of thorny brambles. I started to feel a little nervous. I said, very funny. Could you put the path back, please? Astress of Belvedere Castle is expecting me back soon, and if I don't show up, she'll come looking for me. You wouldn't like that. Oh no, the voice bubbled. We're old friend, Astress and I. I was at your changeling. Did you know? Let me take a closer look at you. As I watched, the pool kind of sucked itself up and swirled around and turned into an old boogie woman. She was short and onion-shaped from the layers and layers of ratty wet skirts and shawls she had on. Her nails were long and black, and her thin hair dripped over her head and shoulders like a stringy mop. She had a round, pale face and round, muddy eyes, and a smile like a row of green knives. That, and the way she was looking at me as if I were a double-dipped chocolate ice cream a cone, told me that she rode with the Wild Hunt. Hello there, dear. You can call me Peg Powler. My, how you've grown. But then you would, wouldn't you? Being a mortal child and all. Let me see, what did Astrus call you? Oh, I remember now. Neef. My first thought was that when Astrus found out I'd talked to Peg Powler of the Wild Hunt, she was going to kill me, or at the very least put me to sleep for 100 years. My second thought was that if I could get out of this by myself, she'd never have to know. Peg spread herself comfortably on a stone like a huge and very ugly toad. It's too beautiful a day to be running errands for a rat, even a fairy one. Sit down, dear. Let's have a chat. Blueberry, will you join us? No, said the voice sulkily. I'm hungry. Peg grinned greenly at me. Blueberry's just shy. It'll come out when it's ready. Now, what shall we talk about? Oh, I know. We'll talk about dancing. Do you like to dance, dear? As it happens, I do. When I was little, Astrus had sent me to the Perry Islanth for dancing lessons, and I really got into it. I always went to the full moon dances on gathering nights, although somebody always made me stop dancing just when I was starting to have fun. But I wasn't about to talk about that with Peg Powler. I shrugged. It's okay. Oh, I think you'll like it more than that, dear. I've seen you at the gatherings, kicking up your mortal heels in the fairy ring, just as if you'd been born to it. Why ask me if you already know the answer? Yes, I like to dance. So what? I like hamburgers too, and chocolate, and those mortal magazines I find in the park. Have you ever seen Glamour or Macworld? They're awesome. Peg ignored this. I was just wondering, dear, seeing how good a dancer you are and how much you enjoy it, why we never see you at the solstice dance. When Peg said solstice dance, the trees crackled overhead, the air thickened, and my skin prickled all over. I felt as if the whole park was listening for my answer. The embarrassing thing was, I didn't have one. I don't know, I said. What's the solstice dance? The feeling of waiting and listening swelled suddenly and popped. Peg's smile grew until the ends disappeared behind her ears. You don't know about the solstice dance? You're pulling old Peg's leg, dear. Everyone dances at the solstice dance. The ghosts dance and the ghouls dance. The Vila dance and the vampires dance. The dragons and the griffins and shapeshifters dance. Even the geniuses dance at the solstice dance, dear. Even the changelings. Now that was weird because I'd never met another mortal changeling in the park. In fact, I'd never met another mortal changeling at all. I couldn't be sure that I hadn't seen one, especially at the museum, where folk come from all over the city to play with the exhibits. But there are so many supernaturals who look like mortals that it's impossible to tell who's what without getting close enough to check out their feet or their ears or how long their fingers are or whether their shadows match their shapes. And the guards and docents don't approve of me talking to tourists, so I couldn't ask. Mortals aren't allowed in the park, I told Peg Powler. Peg raised her claws in the air. Astris never told you that, dear. Not in so many words. That would be a lie. Far be it from me to speak ill of your godmother, but rumor has it that poor Astris has a bad history with changelings. Oh my, yes. There was that one that drowned in the reservoir, and the one that fell off the top of Belvedere Castle, and that other one that came to grief on Sheep's Meadow. Quite by accident, of course. They weren't watching where they were going, but still. And then we had a feast. She licked her lipless mouth. I went cold all over. That's a lie. Astris is the best fairy godmother in New York. Is she, dear? Well, we'll see. When you get back to the drafty castle of yours, just tell her what I've said and see what her reaction is. Okay, I said, I will. She'll say you're making it all up. Oh no, dear, I'm not making it up. Old Peg's got her little ways, but she doesn't invent things. She can't. Astris lost those changelings before they were full grown. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows about the solstice dance, too. There are two, you know, one at midwinter and one at midsummer. Winter is the longest, but summer is best. The trees dance in the summer, dear, and the fire folk dance fireworks in the sky. But you won't see it, will you, dear? You won't be there. The willow trees rustled and a demon appeared, swinging from a slender branch. It was blue with purple tusks, and it was grinning from ear to pointed ear. Poor little changeling, it cooed, can't come to the dance. It's not folk, it's not fowl, and it's not good red herring. I bet it tastes good, though. That did it. This adventure was officially out of control. I needed rescuing, and I needed it fast. Groping my pocket for the hair from the puka's tail, I brought it to my mouth, blew on it, and whispered, By thy oath and by thy faith, come thou quickly by me. Gallop, gallop to my aid, danger draweth nigh me. Before I'd finished, I heard something about crashing around in Peg's bramble thicket. Over here, Puka, I shouted. I'm over here, by the big willow. Peg Powler laughed. Did I frighten you, dear? Or was it Blueberry? What a pity. When we were having such a nice chat. She heaved herself to her feet. Say hello to Astris for me, dear. Peg Powler. Don't forget. Toodle bye. Toodle bye, echoed the blue demon, and sticking out a tongue like a raspberry popsicle, it vanished. All that was left was the swaying willow and the bright stream and the stony path and a pony with flaming yellow eyes and bramble scratches on his glossy black sides. I ran to the pony and threw my arms around his neck. "Oh, Puka, am I ever glad to see you." The Puka shook himself free. "I can't entirely return the sentiment," he said, "seeing as how I'd rather be where I was when you called me, and you in no danger that I can see." "Well, I'm not in danger now," I said. "It went away when it heard you." "Taking the brambles with it, that creature," the Puka said. "Do you know who it was, at all?" This was not a conversation I wanted to have. At best, it was going to lead to a lecture on talking to strangers. At worst, the Puka would tell Astris I'd disobeyed her, and I'd get locked up in my tower room with only Satchel for company until I'd sorted a pile of seeds by size or something equally lame. "Some fat old boogie woman and her demon friend," I said. "I didn't like her teeth." The Puka shook his mane thoughtfully. "Teeth, is it? A wild hunter, without a doubt. Did you speak with her?" "I gave her the words," I said, which was true as far as it went. "It could be worse," the Puka said. "Using the words was almost as clever as leaving the path in the first place was foolish." "Where were you going, then? All on your own some, in the North Woods? Running away from spring cleaning, were you?" Relieved to be on firmer ground, I told him about the mice and the turtles and the ghosts and the squirrels and what a mess my room was, and how Astris had decided that I was big enough to fetch the blockhouse brownie by myself. The Puka's black sides rounded in a windy sigh. "Then I'd best take you to the blockhouse and carry the pair of you back to the castle. Not that you don't deserve to walk." "I know, Puka," I said. "Thank you, Puka." And I scrambled up onto his back. On the way up to the blockhouse, I persuaded him not to tell Astris about my adventure in the North Woods. It wasn't hard. The Puka may be my fairy godfather, but he's still a trickster. By the time the Puka dropped the brownie and me off at the castle, Astris had the turtles gleaming and the mice nearly packed and ready to move their summer quarters. Eldritch shrieked from the basement, told me that the ghosts were still tangled in the cobwebs. Astris didn't look at me, but her whiskers let me know she was not happy, and I'd been gone so long. All she actually said was, "Be welcome to this house, Brownie. Please excuse the mess. You know how it is when you're in the middle of cleaning. It always looks worse before it looks better." The Brownie nodded sympathetically. "I've got things down here pretty well under control, but Neef's room is a wreck. We won't get it clean this side of midsummer without your help. Do you mind?" Like the Brownie had a choice. Cleaning is what brownies do, if you ask, until you give them some old clothes, which makes them go away. That was my fairy godmother. As good as she was beautiful and always considerate. It was possible she hadn't told me about the changelings who'd died because she didn't want to freak me out. I felt a tug on my shirt tail. "Earth to Neef," Astrid said. "Show the Brownie your room and explain to it why your magazine collection isn't trash. Don't give it your old clothes until the place is spick and span, by my standards, not yours. And go straight to bed when you're done. You look exhausted." Which showed how distracted she was, because Astris is usually good at telling when I'm upset, which I was. Very, in fact. When the Brownie wanted to throw out my rocks and my leaf collection, as well as my magazines, I yelled at it to not touch my stuff. I apologized right away, of course. Insulted brownies can do a lot of damage. The Brownie sighed deeply, then used the rocks and magazines to build a kind of bench under the south-facing window. It decorated the walls with the leaves, it polished my silverware, and it cleaned the glass. To make up for yelling, I swept the stone floor and sprinkled it with rosemary. When the room was as tidy as it was going to get, I bundled all my too small clothes into the Brownie's spindly arms. "Here you go," I said. "Thank you for organizing everything." The Brownie shrugged and vanished. I wasn't even slightly sleepy, so I perched on my new window seat and looked south toward Midtown. Evening was drawing in, and the shadows were taking over the park, and the trees of the ramble rustled and murmured to one another below my window. A hazy light pulsed, and a thicket, a will-o'-the-wisp waiting for a traveler it could lead astray. Brighter lights began to wink on in the buildings beyond the park. Everything in Central Park was peaceful and ordinary, except me. I knew about the solstice, of course. There were, as Peg Powler had reminded me, two, one on the longest night of the year and one on the shortest. Astris had taught me that the solstices were big juju with lots of magic floating around. Everybody went a little wild, she said, and then she'd done that thing with her whiskers that meant, don't ask questions, because I won't answer. I didn't actually remember her saying mortals were banned, but she certainly let me believe it, which made sense. Astris's big thing was keeping me safe. Mortals, she always said, are fragile and hard to fix when they break. But I had to wonder, what was the point of letting me think that other mortals weren't even allowed to visit the park? And why keep me from even knowing that every creature in New York between spent solstice nights dancing their brains out while I was, what, under a forgetting spell? Turned into a rock? And why hadn't anyone else mentioned it? It's not like Astris and Lapuka were the only folk I hang around with. There's my dancing teacher, Ilanth, and a fairy called Bugle, and the undines and nixies and water nymphs in the lake and the reservoir, not to mention the fictional characters like the Shakespeare fairies and the water rat and Stuart Little, who lives at the boat pond. I couldn't believe there was some huge conspiracy to make me the only changeling in New York who wasn't invited to the solstice dance. Even if there was, why would Peg Powler tell me about it? Not because she cared about my social life and all the stuff about Astris and her bad luck with changelings. Why would she tell me that? To warn me? Peg Powler? I didn't know what to think. The trees of the ramble and the lights of the city beyond got kind of blurry. I wiped my eyes and told myself that the waitresses in Astris's stories didn't get to be debutantes by being all weepy and sorry for themselves. No, they figured out what they had to do, and they found magical helpers and talismans and things to help them do it. Plus, they mostly lived outside, where magical helpers aren't all that easy to find. I was lucky, really. In Central Park, you can hardly take 2 steps without bumping into a magic animal or a wish-granting fairy of some kind. If I wandered around the ramble for a while going, alas and alack, and woe is me, to show that I was unhappy, I'd soon be surrounded by moss women asking what they could do for me. Moss women hate for anyone to be unhappy, which is why more mortals don't get lost in the ramble forever. By now, the moon was hanging over the city like a half-silver apple. I asked Satchel for a snack. It gave me an orange and a handful of nuts. Then I went to bed, feeling a little less awful. It was good to have a plan. I woke to a beautiful day and a new pair of jeans and a t-shirt draped over my clothes chest. The t-shirt had a winged cat on it. I put it on, wondering why I felt so crabby. Then I remembered yesterday's adventure. Come on, I told myself. Who are you going to trust? Astris, who brought you up, or some boogie woman you've never met before? That should have settled it. But as I ate the oatmeal Satchel gave me, I couldn't stop thinking about the dance and how one of Astris's changelings had fallen off Belvedere Castle. Finally I decided it wouldn't hurt anything to find out what somebody besides Peg Powler said about it all. So I slung Satchel over my shoulder, put the puka's tail hair in my pocket, and went downstairs. If Astris had been home, she would have noticed right away how weird I was acting. But the kitchen was empty, except for a round, golden cookie on the table and a note in Astris's scratchy handwriting telling me that she was having lunch with the werebears in the zoo. I can't live on fairy food because I'd starve to death if I tried, but Astrus's sun cookies are my favorite snacks. Just one makes everything look brighter. It says something about how confused I was that I left the cookie where it was and headed straight to the ramble. The ramble was not as wild as the North Woods, but it's still a very tricksy place. The paths shift and hide themselves, and the trees get their kicks out of sticking their roots under your feet so you'll trip and fall. It's where the Pooka took me for lessons in basic questing and wish-making. I also learned the riddle game from him, plus bargaining with supernaturals, fairy tale patterns for all purposes, and fairy law. Tricksters, oddly enough, are experts on rules. The Pooka always said you can't break a rule properly unless you really understand it. Once I was good and lost, I started to call out, "Alas and alack and woe is me," for all the good it did. I might as well have been crying hot cross buns after a while. I got frustrated. "Alas, alack, and woe," I shouted. "Hey, I'm unhappy here. Really unhappy." At this point I tripped over a root that hadn't been there a minute before, and fell on a rock and skinned my knee. "Now you're unhappy," a gentle voice said. "Before you were mostly pretending. I can't help you if you're pretending." The voice came from a clump of twigs that looked like a nest built by a bird who isn't very good at nest building. It was perched unsteadily on the root I tripped over. "That's a nasty scrape," the moss woman said sympathetically. "Do you want me to put a bit of spiderweb on it? Or a burdock leaf? There's nothing more cooling than a burdock leaf." "No, thank you," I said patiently as I could. The moss woman blinked. "You're the mortal changeling, aren't you?" "Uh-huh." There was something the way she'd said it that made me uncomfortable. It almost sounded like she was sorry for me. "Oh my goodness, you really are unhappy." The moss woman looked up, which made her look like a nest propped up on twigs, and got into wish-granting position. "Okay, shoot." I bit my lip. Of my two questions, the one that was bothering me the most was what had really happened to Astrus's other mortal changelings. But I was having trouble phrasing it as a wish. I wish I knew if Astrus was a murderess. I just couldn't. The second question was a lot simpler. "I wish I could go to the solstice dance," I said. The moss woman's twigs turned a pale beige. "Do you know what you're asking?" As a matter of fact, I didn't, but I wasn't going to admit that. Muffin button. Thank you, Shaggy Voice 999, for following. I wish I had a muffin button. That would be great. As a matter of fact, I didn't, but I wasn't going to admit it. Sure I do. I want to go to the ball. Like Radio Torella. What's the big deal? Oh dear, the moss woman muttered. What to do, what to do. She's very unhappy. Miserable, in fact. It's coming off of her in waves. Most unpleasant. I have to fix it, but I can't tell her about... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. She was muttering. Her voice got higher and faster, and her twigs rattled furiously. Afraid she'd fall apart completely, I told her I withdrew the wish. The moss woman settled her twigs in a nervous check. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." "How about another wish?" "I'd do anything, almost, to make you happy." "How about a nice puppy?" "I don't want a puppy," I said crossly. "Oh dear, I'm sorry, I really am. But I can't, you see. It's a ghee. You do know what a ghee is, don't you?" Geese are a folklore basic. It's when you're not allowed to do a certain thing, and if you do it, something really bad happens to you. "That's right," she said, "and I'm under one, about what you said. So is everybody else around here. Please don't mention it again. Wish for something else instead. How about a nice new dress?" This would have been a nice time to ask her about Astrus, but I still couldn't find a good way to put it. And I did want to go to the solstice dance instead of just sleeping through it. I wish I had an anti-sleep charm, I said. An anti-sleep charm? The moss woman sounded surprised. I don't know any anti-sleep charms. Let me think. She settled back down into her nest on a root mode and closed her eyes. I waited and waited and waited. You can't rush folk. The trees rustled peevishly, and a toad with a ruby on its forehead hopped over my foot. I waited some more. Finally, the moss woman stood up. Okay, I got it. You know the Kesna Perry over by Huddlestone Bridge? Not personally, no. That doesn't matter. You'll know it when you see it. It has a nose you could roll a marble down. Gray, I think. The Kesna Perry, not the marble. But I could be wrong. It's tending a silver pot over a blue fire. Ask it for some, or ask it for some of what's in the pot. Bye. And the moss woman was gone before I could ask for anything else. I had to find another moss woman to show me the way out of the bramble. Huddlestone Bridge is tucked away on the southwest edge of the North Woods. Yesterday, I wouldn't have gone to the reservoir without telling Astris, much less gone way out of bounds, looking for a supernatural whose name I recognized from my lesson on minor league devils and demons. Today, I would have done worse than that if it meant getting one of my questions answered. It was hot under the trees, and I couldn't find anything that even resembled a path. I crushed about in the bushes for a while, grumpy and lost, on the theory that if I looked long enough, I'd surely find something. What I found was a smell. It was toasty, sharp, and sneeze-making, unlike anything I'd ever smelt before, and it led me to a rough stone bridge over a swift, deep stream. This time, I knew better than to rush into a trap without checking it out first. Crawling cautiously to the side of the bridge, I peered down into the clearing below, trying to look as much like a lump of granite as possible. A small, grayish devil was poking at a fire under a pot. The pot was silver, the fire was blue, and the devil's nose poked out of the darker tangle of its beard, and eyebrows like a long gray carrot. I'd found the Casnaperi. I slithered down into the clearing and marched up to the fire, looking, I hoped, more heroic than I felt. The Casnaperi gaped up at me, its mouth a black ring studded with sharp teeth. Good afternoon, Casnaperi, I said. I am a changeling under the protection of the Green Lady, and I've come to ask a boon. The Casnaperi grinned. And you think that comes as news to me? Would you be here if you didn't want something? Let me guess. You want the magic treasure I'm cooking here in my silver pot. Yes, please, I said. I don't need all of it, though. A mouthful's fine. Well, you can't have it at all. You're too young. It'll stunt your growth. It'll grow hair on your chest. It'll keep you awake for days. It'll give you ulcers, a sour stomach, the shakes. I live on the stuff, from the feast of St. Michael to Midsummer Eve. I know. You want to end up like this. The Casnaperi stuck out its leathery claw. It shook like a leaf in a high wind. Thank you, Tiger. Excuse me. This might have put me off, if I'd believed it. Maybe the folk can't make things up, but they can exaggerate. I can handle it, I said. Will you give me some, please? Will you give me some? Will you give me some? The Casnaperi mocked. This isn't just any ordinary treasure, you know. It's pure black gold. Why should I give it to you just because you say please? What's in it for me? Life among the folk is all about getting what you need without giving up a pot of gold or an arm and a leg or your firstborn child in exchange. The Puka had spent a lot of time dining the principles of bargaining into me, or dinning, and I was sure he would have been proud of how I talked the Kaznaperi down from a pint of my heart's blood and my little finger bone to a dead pigeon I'd seen lying at the edge of the north meadow. When I brought it back, wrapped in a chestnut leaf, the Kaznaperi was so happy that it threw it into a stone flask to keep the potion in at no extra charge. I picked up the flask and sniffed gingerly. The smell that had led me to the Kaznaperi's clearing curled about my nose. Toasty, sharp, exciting. My mouth watered, and I lifted the flask to my lips. You don't want to do that, the Kaznaperi, around a mouthful of pigeon feathers. Why not? The Kaznaperi swallowed. Drink it now. You won't have it when you want it. And why I'm telling you this instead of letting you waste it, I don't know. I must be getting soft in my old age. New York's not what it used to be, either. In the old days, it went on wistfully, my treasure was molten gold distilled from sunbeams. But you can't get decent sunbeams anymore. Too much soot. It sighed and spat out a wing bone. You can go away now. It chomped into the pigeon again, getting feathers and blood and stuff all over its beard. Thank you, I said respectfully, and ran. I hid the Kaznaperi's stone flask among the magazines in the window seat. At first, I kept taking it out and shaking it so I could hear the keep awake sloshing inside, then unstoppering it and sniffing. After a few days, the potion didn't smell as good as it first had. Not bad exactly, but kind of metallic. There wasn't anybody I could ask whether it could go rotten except the Kaznaperi, but I wasn't about to do that. So I tried not to think about it. Instead, I thought about the solstice dance, and I thought about how the other mortal changelings got to attend it, and I didn't. I thought about how, when I had complained to Astris about how hard it was to be the only mortal around, all she'd said was, I should be glad I was special. I thought about the special park changelings who had come before me, the ones she'd had such bad luck with. With all these questions buzzing around in my head, I hardly dared to talk to Astris for fear I'd blurt out the wrong thing. I spent more and more time away from the castle, hanging out at the dairy and sitting for hours in Willow Bay, with my feet in the lake. My daily lessons in folklore were not as much fun as they used to be. Neef, what's wrong? Astris asked me one morning when things had gone worse than usual. Wrong? I asked, my heart thudding uncomfortably. I can only remember two ways of outwitting a piskie. That's all. Why do I need to learn three ways anyway? Isn't one enough? Astris's whiskers were severe. Not if it's the full moon, or not if the moon's full. And it's not just that. You left three of the most important storm spirits off this list of destructive nature spirits. I haven't seen you this distracted since you were very small. She fixed me with her ruby eyes, her whiskers quivering with worry. Whatever's on your mind, pet, you can tell me. When I was little, I learned that when I cried, it made the folk fall over laughing, even Astris. Needless to say, I didn't cry much. Lately, however, I'd been choking up over nothing. Mortified, I got up and went to the kitchen window so I could dry my tears and come up with a story that would answer Astrus's question and get me out of the castle. I've got a date with Puck and Ariel, I said. They're going to race around the Earth. I'm supposed to judge who gets back to the mulberry tree first. They're waiting for me. That's why I'm distracted. I didn't really expect Astrus to fall for this. Maybe she didn't. Maybe her whiskers were suspicious. But I didn't look at them. I just stood there with my back to her until she said, "Very well, Neef. Go ahead and meet your friends, but I'll expect you to spend the evening on your pescalore and reviewing the storm spirits, as well as the 6 signs of a demon and the short list of traditional boogeymen. You need to know these things." "I know, Astros," I said. "Thanks." And I pelted out of the kitchen and across the courtyard as if the wild hunt were on my heels. Then I climbed the mulberry tree and stayed there the rest of the day, feeling awful. After that, Astros pretty much handed over my education to the puka. I thought this would be better. He never made me memorize lists or write essays comparing and contrasting the protective spirits from 3 different folklore traditions. He was more into the fun stuff, like catching leprechauns and tricking demons, but he wasn't nearly as patient as Astros. Plus, I pitched so many fits at him that he threatened to take back all his tail hair. All in all, it was a good thing that the solstice was getting nearer. The days grew gradually longer, and the folk grew busier and more excited, the way I realized they'd always did twice each year. The water nymphs went on and on about the fancy gowns they were making out of the waterweed and leaves. The leprechauns were snowed under their orders for dancing shoes. The clincher was when the folk lined up outside Iolant's door, waiting for dancing lessons. One evening I even saw her twirling with an ogre in sweatpants, dodging his clawed feet and yelling, "Lightly! I said trip lightly!" When I asked them what they were doing, they all pretended they were too busy to talk to me. Finally, it was the day before the solstice. I still didn't know how Astris put me to sleep every year, and I wasn't completely sure the keep awake hadn't gone bad. Astris had exploded when I knocked her bowl of cookie dough into her newly scrubbed floor and threw me out of the castle until bedtime. I was sitting on the rock overlooking the turtle pond, trying to read a rain-swollen copy of a book I'd found under a bush. It was all it was about all these weird kids who get to be friends because the popular kids hate them, which kind of reminded me of the folk, only without any other changelings to make friends with. The book stopped suddenly, in the middle of a sentence, leaving all the weird kids' problems unsolved. I threw the book into the pond, propped my chin on my hands, and watched the sunset gild the windows of the Metropolitan Museum across the meadow. My eye caught a flutter of scarlet crossing Central Park Central toward me. "Oh," I said to myself, "there's the Sandman." And then I got it. The Sandman isn't park folk. He lives in the city where his job is to go out into the mortal world every night to put little children to sleep. He and Astris were old friends, and he always visited at solstice. Being a mortal child, I pretty much fell asleep as soon as I said hello to him, and never woke up until morning. I couldn't believe I hadn't figured it out sooner. There was no time to waste. I jumped up and tore across the courtyard into the castle and up the spiral stair into my room, where I dug the flask of Keep Awake out of the window seat. The Casnaperi's Keep Awake potion was cold and oily, and it tasted like safety pins and old socks. It was all I could do not to spit it out, but I managed to swallow. The potion hit my stomach like a lighted candle. One minute I was an ordinary changeling, the next I was super changeling, smarter than your average genius and very, very, very wide awake. Just in time, too. Astris was calling me. "Neef, Neef, the Sandman's here. Come down and say hello." I was tempted to yell down to her so that I didn't care and see what happened next. But now was not the time to start acting weirder than usual, so I yelled, "Coming!" instead. The next part was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I felt like I could cartwheel all the way down the stairs and into the kitchen, but I didn't want to make Astra suspicious. One step at a time, I told myself. Don't rush. What's wrong with you? Astra said when she saw me dragging my feet from step to step. You look like you're about to fall over. I thought fast, really fast. Tag with the Leshy, I said, this afternoon. He turned himself into a wolf. I'm pooped. Astros gave me a doubtful look. You better go straight to bed then. But say hello to the Sandman first. The Sandman spread his scarlet cloak with both arms, unveiling baggy turquoise pants and a gold shirt. The colors made my eyes hurt. He smiled at me sleepily. Happy solstice, Neef. With the keep with the keep awake fizzing in my head, it took all of my self-control to say, Happy solstice to you, Sandman, and allow him to fold the scarlet cloak around me like a tent. Dream sand settled into my eyes and mouth. I yawned and rubbed my eyes. With that much dream sand around, you just have to yawn. Keep awake or no keep awake. It wasn't hard to stumble up the stairs, fall on my bed, and curl up with my eyes closed. It was hard just keeping them closed and breathing evenly when Astris jumped up on the bed to make sure I was really asleep. I felt her whiskers twitch across my nose. I couldn't help giving a little snort, but I might have done that even if I had been sleeping. Out like a light, she said. I thought I smelt coffee on her breath, but I must have been imagining it. Coffee? The Sandman sounded shocked. Not our little Neef. Not so little anymore, Astra said. She's growing up, Morpheus. I know the signs. Soon she's going to do something she shouldn't, and things will get ugly. Well, it hasn't happened yet, the Sandman said cheerfully. Come on, Astris. I can hear the trees tuning up. We don't want to be late. Just to make sure they were really gone, I stayed on the bed with my eyes closed, twitching as the keep awake threw off the dream sand, listening to the fairy music drifting through my open window, counting as slowly as I could to 200. At about 75, the music pulled me out of bed and over to the nearest window. With dusk blue among the trees, the dance was just getting started. Folk of all shapes and sizes were dancing on the paths, on the rocks, even up in the sky, where tiny winged fairies and peris floated like dandelion fluff along with oriental dragons and bright winged garudas. Fairy lights glittered off polished tusks and scales and horns and jewels. I saw a pair of squirrels prance past, their tails brushed to fluffy boas. A huge black kelpie flashed its gilded hooves. Red Cap's red cap was shiny with fresh blood. The swan maidens from Lincoln Center wore their swan skins over their white shoulders like feathery cloaks. The music came from everywhere, fiddles and pipes and quick beating drums. I leaned out my window so far I almost fell out. I couldn't wait to be down there with the rest of them, do-si-doing with dwarves, cavorting with kobolds, pirouetting with piskies, waltzing with the werebears. Maybe, my heart beat faster, maybe even capering with changelings. I skinned out of my jeans and t-shirt and into my only dress. It was green spider silk with a floaty skirt and leaves and flowers woven into it, and I'd found it a few days earlier, laid out on a bench in the Shakespeare garden. I had an idea that the moss woman must have left it for me, because if not being able to grant my real wish, it smelled a little of damp leaf mold, but it was the prettiest thing I'd ever worn in my life. Downstairs, I paused to check myself out in the hall mirror. My hair was its usual explosion of frizzy curls. I was definitely round in the middle, and my legs and feet were not as clean as Astris would have liked, but the spider silk dress turned me into a woodsy A park ferry. I ran out into the courtyard. The Shakespeare fairies were dancing gavottes in lace ruffles and doublets and stiff, drum-shaped skirts. Puck winked at me, then whirled away. Had he recognized me? Or was he just being Puck? Who cared? I was going to dance in Central Park Central, and nothing was going to stop me. I edged past the revelers and made it down the steps to the foot of the cliff. I was almost past Turtle Pond when something caught my leg and hung on tight. Looking down, I saw the water rat, almost unrecognizable himself, in a black dinner jacket and red bow tie. What are you doing, Mr. Rat? What are you doing? Joining the dance, I said, or I will be, if you'll just let go. The water rat tightened his grip. Oh, you don't want to do that, youngster. Central Park Central's full of tourists at midsummer. Giants, wyverns, vampires. Much better to observe from a distance. I understand there's an excellent view from the castle. Shall I take you up? No way, I said. This is my first solstice, and I want to dance. Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't like that at all. I was tempted to kick Water Rat away, but I wasn't that crazy, quite. Why not? You're a mortal, he said carefully. Mortals are delicate, and the folk get wild as the night wears on. I didn't like to mention it before, but unsupervised mortals can dance themselves to death at solstice dance. You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Think how upset our Astros would be. Everything seemed to click into place. The Sandman, Astros hiding the dance from me, even the fate of the other park changelings. It was like the story of the sleeping debutante, where the mayor passed a law against books because an evil fairy had said his daughter would die of a paper cut. Those park changelings must have done something stupid and got themselves killed, so Astros had decided to keep me away from the dance entirely. Didn't she trust me? Didn't she know I could take care of myself? I know what you're trying to do, Mr. Rat, but really, it's okay. I'm not a complete idiot, and I won't dance myself to death. I'm going to look for other mortal changelings. I'll be fine. The rat's whiskers weren't as expressive as Astros's, but I could tell he wasn't convinced. Why would you want to do that? They won't know anything about the park, you know. What would you talk about? And what if they hurt you? Mortals don't always get along with other mortals, I hear. No, it would be best all around if you returned to the castle. With all that's going on, are you nuts? Listen, Mr. Rat, I appreciate the warning and everything, but you're not my fairy godfather. Just butt out, okay? The water rat looked grave. Listen here, Neef. I'm just trying to keep you from making an awful ass of yourself. But if you're determined, and I can't change your mind. It might be wise, however, for you to watch for a while before joining in. The solstice dance is powerful magic, and you need to understand the pattern or there may be serious consequences. Besides, he said practically, you'll never find a changeling by leaping into a huge moving crowd and hoping to bump into one. Even hopped up on music and keep awake, I had to admit that the water rat had a point. At the end, I promised I'd climb a tree and watch from above until I was sure I saw the pattern, and then he let me go. I was a little hurt that he waited until I found a suitable tree before he joined the dance himself. I may not like rules, but I do keep my promises. I swung myself up to a nice sturdy branch at about giant's eye level, and put my back against the trunk. Take you a bar. The music ran through me, like keep awake. Water Rat hadn't said anything about sitting still, so I bounced until the whole tree creaked and shook. Stop that, the tree rustled the tree angrily. I shouldn't have to put up with this kind of nonsense. Not on solstice night. Keep it up and I'll snap. Oh, it's okay. Like, he did it a while ago, so you're good, Amar. I said I was sorry and stopped bouncing. I couldn't keep my feet still, though, no matter how hard I tried. The music was like 1,000 instruments from 100 different musical traditions, all playing at once. I didn't have anything that even remotely resembled a tune, and I couldn't quite catch the beat, but I had to move anyways, or bust. So I swung my legs and twitched my shoulders and studied the dance for some clue to its pattern. There had to be one. The water rat couldn't lie, but I couldn't figure it out. For all I could tell, the solstice dance was nothing but a bunch of folk prancing around at random, waving their arms, or flippers, or tails, or horns, however they felt like it. For a long time, I watched a bunch of leprechauns with emerald green mohawks bopping up and down in a tight cluster, but I still couldn't make any sense of it. Then I saw Peg Powler. Oh, excuse me. She was spinning her green rags, waving like rotten lettuce leaves. As she turned, she looked up and showed me every pointy tooth in her head. My heart thumped uncomfortably under my spider silk dress, but I grinned right back at her. Peg circled away, grinning like a goon, and I returned to studying the dance. I noticed an odd kind of ripple moving through the crowd. The ripple came nearer, turning into a line of heads bobbing slightly out of sync with the beat. I wondered what kind of folk they were. They might have been elves or shapeshifters, except for being red-faced and kind of heavy-looking. As they danced past my tree, I noticed they were panting and gleaming with sweat. A woman tripped, and a man stumbled over her. Folk don't trip. Folk don't sweat. Folk don't get tired. I'd found the mortal changelings. Okay, so I am going to try playing a game.
Okay, so
This one. Oh, he.
because I don't know if you have controller support, but it might help, right?
Uh-huh.
OBS.
Just in case. It surprised me.
Okay, hold on. Go down to the volume.
I have to change the audio.
Huh? Give me. Gotta go to your sources.
Give me a moment, guys. No, it's cuter. Except there's a problem. I can't understand what
I'm
that's.
trying to figure that out for
I
you.
can't understand what that says.
I'm trying to give me a second.
Don Rocco Wonko.
Wonko wonko.
Doronko Wonko is apparently what Sagral's saying.
Okay, so from here you want to go to the fourth button on the page to open up the option.
This one?
Yep. Hit E. Go to the second tab. And then it's the third option.
This one.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Oh.
Oh! There it is. Alright. There we go.
Now you can read it.
Yeah! New game. I can.
Open jelly?
Popper! Ah! What's this?
Effectively the story.
1 week later. Okay. Okay. So puppy smells food. Splash the dirt, cover yourself in dirt. So yes, it's time for property damage. Okay, I'm taking a screenshot of this because I'm not gonna remember that. Find hidden painting. Collect all the paintings to open the door. Ah, Paw Prince! Ah, mud! Okay. Okay. So zoom. Zoom! Look at the cute butt! Look at that. Ah, it sat down. No, don't sit down. Paw Prince, Paw Prince, Paw Prince. What's this? Interact. I'm on the Roomba! I'm on a Roomba! No! Get back on the... Back on the Roomba! No! I'm on a Roomba! Yeah! You're just spreading the dirt around. Wait, I'm making money for making it messy? What the? Dude! Look at this shit! It's... What? Look at this cute little shithead! Look at all of them. Oh, the poor Roomba. Yeah. Follow me, Roomba. Come on. Yeah, look at all this mess. Let's see. Ha! Yeah! Property. No. Yeah! Mud! I can't get fully dirty? Okay. Okay. Yeah! Okay, did I... What's that? Okay, I don't... What am I doing with the thingy? I don't... Why is it shiny over here? Muddy Muddy Living Room, I'm an artist. Good at painting. Oh! What is this? What is this? It's cute! I don't know what it is. There's another one. Edible mud. Wait, can I make myself green? No green? No green? Screw it. If I can't make it green, I'll make it brown. Wait, what the hell? Heh heh. I stuck something else. Wait, what's this? Okay. I took the cutting board! Let's see. Is there fall damage? There is not fall damage. I'm not done up here. More! Oop. Hit! Hold on. Yeah! Oh, 10,000 in damage. Housewarming party. Not for long! Ha ha! Here's another painting. Yes, Roomba, do my evil bidding. Honey, just join me in chat. Wait! Hold on. What's it? Give it! Mine. I don't know what this is, but it's mine now. Yeah! Wait a minute, I can act like a cat. Just push shit off the table. Yeah! Get off this.
So you
Hey.
earn money.
Yeah. Earn money by acting like a damn cat.
That is awesome.
How do I drop shit? Hold on. I can't drop anything. Wait, what the hell? Whee! I'm in the sink. Did you know that toasters are waterproof? I dare someone to clip that. Yeah. Did you know toasters are waterproof, Eric?
looked up. They are not fully waterproof.
Yeah, they are. Just make sure they're not plugged in and they're fully waterproof. What's this? I found something. Oh. Uh-oh. Did I find the secret summoning circle? What is this
Time to
circle?
summon Cthulhu.
No. We summoned Bark Thulu. Yes. Get the right Thulu. Yeah, perfect place. Make my muddy home. Ah! Let me back up. I'm very good at pretending to be a cat. Mud on the TV! Yeah! What is that? These like new toys or something? What's this? What is this? Be in there! Stop it! Oh. Spread my mud around. It is my minion now. Yes! Yes!
Yeah, that girl thinks she's having a lot of fun with this game.
Right. How much damage would it cost for me to push? May push it off! Fine. Eh. Eh. You know what? How much damage is this gonna cause if I fuck up the... Me up here. Fuck your shit. What?
Just casually
Wait,
keeping
what?
Lorelai being cute as fuck.
Wait, what? Really? Hey look! Red sauce! Yes! It must has more. I'm red! Yeah, I changed colors! Yes! I did that one. The bed! Let me in! Let me in! You bitch, let me in. Gonna make it so messed up. Yes! You've made a mistake! Ha! I should not be allowed in here. Bitch, let me up! Looks like there's a fucking murder scene. Wait, put on. What's this? Hey! This is mine now. Damn it. I want in the box! If I fits, I sits. Like, god damn it, let me in! Yep. I fits, I sits. I live here now.
I live here now.
Unless I just fucking, like, murdered something. Blood for the blood god!
Go for
It's
the
like something's
Subathon.
just absolutely being murdered in this damn box. Look at this shit.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I'm holding a red can that's just making shit red. See. Look at all of this cool stuff. Oh, fuck it up. It's mine. It's an apple. It's my apple now. What's all this shit? Bottles! Oh. Let me in!
Let me the hell in.
Let me in, bitch. Yes! Destruction! I look so cute. You know, they should have made me a fucking cat. This is shit the cats do. $99 palm. 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
99 bottles of beer.
Take one down, fuck it up.
Take one down. Fuck it up. Wait a minute, that's not how the song goes.
Hey look, I found another one! Little sour. It's a toy! Okay, I gotta go back to the living room. Let me out! That's not... Is that where I came from? Yeah, there's a bunch of mess! Yes, I came from here. Living room, living room, living room, living room. Hey, Mom! Are you immune to the mess, Mother?
Mother.
Mother, I wish to stain you. And the blood of mine enemies.
Oh my god. Lorelei with hunger for destruction in this clip.
Wait, what?
Tiger put in Lorelei with hunger for destruction as a clip.
I'm green! Want my toy? Give me my toy. The fuck is my toy? Give me my toy! It's my toy! Not here. Ah! Wait, put on. Give me my damn toy. Yes! Ha ha! Look at me! I'm a cute little shit! It doesn't get wet! Ah! Wait, put on. Heh. No, I want that. No! Give that back. I want the weight. Give me that. Wait, new? Can I fuck it up? Interact. Yes! There, blow more shit up there. Aha. Whee! Okay. I need to go find my damn toy.
Why gotta be cute little popper? Why not?
Toy!
You gotta.
I think, right? Where's my toy?
You can bet that. And the person's gonna be like,
That's too clean.
"Ah, shh."
That's too clean. Hold on, it's... Found it. Ah. Do I open the door? Open sesame? I want my toy. I saw it. Where's my toy? I want my toy. Where's my toy? Follow the paw prints. I still saw an absolutely cute toy. I want it. Where's my toy?
I think you walked by it next to the
Splash. My toy! Ah! Yes! What the? Oh my god! Yes! Yes! Shark versus Pomeranian. Wait, what the fuck? What I? Oh! What the hell did I do? I popped something in an explosion. Wait a minute. No, I want the purple. Yes! Purple, purple, purple. Wait, what's this? Ha! This is cool! Yes! Yep. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. There's a bucket of them. Is that it? Oh, there's more. Come here. Shark! Wait, hold on. What is it? What happens? Ah! Look at this thing! Ah! Look at it! Ah! I can't do as much damage with it. Some switch back. Looks like I'm just pissing everywhere. Hold on, I want to share. No, I want purple. Stop! I don't want the green. I want the purple. What's this? What's this? No. Wait, what did I do? What the hell did I just do? Choo choo. Is this another balloon? Yeah! Alright! Wait, are there more? Yes, there are. Penguin!
Apparently there might be, apparently there's supposed to be another wheel or two for the train to start moving.
Oh, I don't care at the moment. I just want to break shit. Come here. Look, it's multiple colors. Whee! Uh-oh. I'm near my beds. Oh god, it's a cannon. I must have it.
Oh god.
I must have it. I have to go find it. What?
The train
Oh,
hides more
so I
destruction.
think my stream room
Find the wheel.
just
Two
laughing.
wheels missing.
Okay. No, but I want the cannon, honey.
Well, you gotta go find the cannon.
Like, cute can. Why is this vibrating? Ah, yes!
You got the wheels earlier, honey. There would've been discs that you carried.
Okay. Apparently, I'd found one of the wheels. It was a disc I was carrying earlier. Balloon. I don't even remember where the disc was that Sagar was saying I was carrying earlier.
I think you interacted with the train already. Here. It was in the kitchen, he thinks.
The Roombas of Destruction.
The room of destruction. Yes, Tiger, more toys.
There it is. has a ball, I think.
Okay.
There's a room down there I can't get into. Or can I? Yep, nope. Okay, I want to go get the cannon. I want to go get the cannon.
Get the cannon.
Yeah. Spread my shit around. Woo! And where's that damn cannon?
When I saw it was in that green alcove
Total damage is over 100,000.
and rising.
Yes! Even better. Yes! I have distance now. And the Roombas are doing my work for me. What the hell is this? Oh, that just appeared right next to me. Hello! I wish to, Hi. Come here. Yes! I have the whale and the squirt gun! Oh my god. What the hell is the stars for? Okay, so I'm looking for the train wheels to optimize destruction. Hey, lady! Hi! Oh shit, look! You can be painted on! I got a trophy. Aha! Got one. Now I gotta figure out how the fuck to get back up there. Mother. Mother, I crave destruction, mother. There's the cannon! Hi! Let's see, what do you do? What the fuck? The fuck is that? Ha! I found the cannon. Ah! Found you! Me up. Me up, you little shit! Now I can get up there. Alright. All aboard! Woohoo! Choo choo. Well damn! That was unexpected. What is this thing? This thing's huge! Here's my trophy. Hi, trophy. Alright, what else do I do? Are there any other rooms I haven't actually just fucked up? Zooming. Hold on. Okay. No one left. I don't know what I'm missing. Trophy!
This is just that drop-down area you were at in the train area.
I has the sharky! I have the shark! Wait, hold on. What's that green? Oh, I see. I see. Carrying this big ass shark with me. It's my shark and will go everywhere I fucking go. Mine!
My shark.
Itty bitty little fucking Pomeranian carrying a big ass fucking shark that's clipping through the damn floor. Yep, my shark. Fuck off. Ah! Shit, 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 shit. Okay. Okay. So what did it do? Yeah! Destruction!
Mass destruction.
Alright, now what the fuck else do I do? Where's the last one? Yeah, that's a button. I saw it and I'm like, I gotta press the button. I has to press the button. Alright. Where the fuck is the other? Gah! Is the living room? No. Everything is freaking covered.
What about the
You wanna know what my shark's name is?
what's that?
Baby.
Coco Melon.
Nope. Baby shark doo 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 doo.
It's just there's a song in Coco Melon called Baby Shark.
Nope. Wrong baby shark. Which boxes? Speakers. Do I interact with it?
That proof they've caused almost 10 million in property damage.
There's Mom. Hey, Mom! I want to cover you in shit. Come here, Mom. Here you go, Mom. You tired, Mom? Not anymore. Wakey, wakey, Mom. Wakey, wakey. Wake up. Wake up. Come on. I want you to see all my beautiful artwork, Mom. It's all so pretty. Ah! I fell. It's okay. There's something back here. Man. Or not.
Shiny gold.
Sagro said, have I climbed all the boxes? I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Wait, hold on. Supposed to say, am I a box? Damn it, I was a box. Hold on. Sharky! Back here. Oh, my shark. Boxes. Oh, this is an option? Oh, well, damn! Hold on. Hold on. I saw something. Ah! Okay, well, I gotta deal with fall damage. There's Mom. Mom, where's all the boxes you had? I need to climb them again because I fell.
That girl says there's a legend toy room you haven't gone up, you think?
Say what?
That girl says there's a legend toy room you haven't gone up, he thinks?
Yeah, but I want to get back on those. Wait, is there really? How do I get there? It's not here. I gotta go upstairs. There's a room in the toy room I haven't been able to get to because I haven't figured out how to open the damn door.
Oh, you gotta climb the boxes to get to them. Those menus. There's
Oh, here it is.
around.
There it
Oh,
is.
there you go. Now you can go to that door.
I gotta go fuck that room up. The mom gonna be so proud. I've done $20 million of damage.
No kidding.
Hey! What's up? This is all for me. Wait a minute, what the hell? There's paw prints. Let's visited all rooms. Sweet.
And there's cake.
Yeah, I'd rather have my cannon. Thank you very much. What? Wait, what? What? What happened?
I think whenever you touch
I hear you! You know that, right? Is that it?
that's it.
That's it? Cyril says that's it. All I had to do was interact with the cake and I'm done.
It's sad.
Okay. What the? How many clips were? Holy hell! How many clips were there? Holy hell! Oh, you know what? I gotta try something.
And that's the end of the subathon.
Transformers should have
And
reached.
it's still not me! And yeah, Subathon has ended.
Yup.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, that you heard it. Who said that? One of the dancers.
Speaking of, Nell actually has gone live.
Was that you?
So,
Yup.
shall we raid the Nell?
Are you giving me victory kisses?
We shall raid the Nell.
So, yeah, Subathon has ended, guys. So, thanks for sticking around. And, yeah, sneak attack for the rogue. We're gonna go ahead and raid Nell. So, see you
Woo.
guys later.